Don't you
trust them new niggas over there? Don't you trust them new niggas with their finger on the trigger? Don't trust them new niggas over there. Don't you trust them new niggas over
there? They want reparations.
Trust them new niggas over there.
We want humiliation.
Trust them new niggas with their finger on the trigger. Trust them new niggas over there.
They want liberation.
Trust them new niggas over there.
We want the plantation.
Trust them new niggas over there.
They want their own schools.
Trust them new niggas with their finger on the trigger. Trust them new niggas over there.
The cops shoot you every day.
Trust them new niggas over there.
And then we let them get away.
Trust them new niggas over there.
We prefer to play the fool.
Trust them new niggas with their finger on the trigger. Trust them new niggas over
there. We go to church to scream and shout.
Trust them new niggas over
there. The next day we sell you out.
Trust them new niggas with their finger on the trigger. Trust them new niggas over there.
You are white. You shut the fuck up. You are white. You white.
Don't you
trust them new niggas over there? Don't you trust them new niggas with their finger on the trigger? Don't trust them new niggas over there. Don't you trust them new niggas over
there. They want reparations.
Trust them new niggas over there.
We want humiliation.
Trust them new niggas with their finger on the trigger. Trust them new niggas over there.
They want liberation.
Trust them new niggas over there.
We want the plantation.
Trust them new niggas over there.
They want their own schools.
Trust them new niggas with their finger on the trigger. Trust them new niggas over there.
The cops shoot you every day.
Trust them new niggas over there.
And then we let them get away.
Trust them new niggas over there.
We prefer to play the fool.
Trust them new niggas with their finger on the trigger. Trust them new niggas over there.
We go to church to scream and shout.
Trust them new niggas over
there. The next day we sell you out.
Trust them new niggas with their finger on the trigger. Trust them new niggas over there.
We anticipate in the next 10 to 12 years approximately 86 million Hispanics coming into the United States and 41 million Asians. You have been the majority minority for 400 years in this country. You have been the number 2 population for 400 years. You're gonna get kicked out of being number 2, you're gonna go down and become number 4. Now common sense, even a 3rd grade education would tell you, if you didn't get anything when you were number 2, you all jumped ahead of me, but anyway, you can guess what you're going to get when you become number 4.
President Biden, do you support reparations?
Well, I mean, since I haven't spoken on this, got a chance. Number one, the reason we're the country we are is because of immigration. We've been able to cherry pick the best from every single continent. The people who come here have determination, resilience. They are ready to stand up and work like the devil. We have 24 out of every 100 children in our school today is Hispanic. The idea that we are going to walk away and not provide every opportunity for them is not only stupid and immoral, but it's bad for America. They are the future of America.
It's a bad slave Negro any land. Through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
We are owed $104 trillion on the very low end, plus $735 billion recurring. This number does not include the cost of about 50 Black Wall Streets that were decimated, nor compound interest from 2017 when Sean D. Rochester's book, The Black Tax, was published, nor the cost of Black life, nor the cost of living increases, nor the war on drugs, nor the current day pandemic. The number I'm working with is for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives.
Good evening on the West Coast. Good evening in the mountain. Good evening in the central. Good evening on the east. You know exactly who it is, I believe. Angela Devana, your host, focused on the reparationist perspective, bringing you those Negroes decision hot topics and making the case for reparations, making the case for weaponizing our vote, socializing our suffering. How y'all doing, family? I see you, funny face, Ivy Dreams, Q Lane, and for those of you tuning in from, I lost my, hold on, y'all. Where am I at? For those of you tuning in, just give me a second, y'all. I don't know what happened. Lord have mercy. Hold on, y'all. My whole face went away. I guess because I'm being messy Bessie, y'all. That must be why my face went away. For those of you tuning in from Facebook and X, if you want to be a part of the illustrious co-host in the chat, please come over to ScrewTube and get your comments off your chest. I will read as many of them as I'm able to towards the end of the broadcast. Shout out to Amal and Rasan for being loyal patrons. I think I just need to call them producers. They keep giving and giving, and I'm eternally grateful to them, as I am you. What you can do free of charge is to get those algorithms up. That's what you can do. Give the video a thumbs up. Give the broadcast some love so folks can find me over here, like Funny Face said, being messy. I'm being messier than Jesse up in here today. Okay? I think the intro was very befitting for today's topic. Shout out to whomever shared it on the X-Files. I thought it was epic. It is just so true. It kind of encapsulates in one commercial. Joy and Reid is in there. Jim the Coon Clyburn is in there. It's so many. Skamala was featured. Candace Owens was featured. Yeah. Angela Reid with tomatoes and lettuce on the side. She was featured. I think it's a very appropriate commercial for what we're going to unpack today. We're going to go back in time to when I did this particular segment on Joy and Reid, Barack Obama. I can't recall who else. It was Damn Not Like Us, They Ain't Us, part 2, if you want to see the entire video. But we're going to do some flashback leading up to Joyless Reid's termination. Okay, like Malcolm would say, the chickens have come home to roost on Joyless Reid, and how she tried to come for the reparations, the reparationists. She tried to come for us. The ancestors were not pleased. It's a matter of time for all of them, because the ancestors are not pleased with the demon rats' economically genocidal plans for the Negro. They will all get their day in the sun. And it's our job to expose them. Yes, I know you've seen thousands of videos about Joyless Reid getting terminated, but I'm hopeful to kind of pull together some of the things I've learned to show you, because you may not have seen what I'm going to share today. And then I'm going to show you what I've already had to say about it concerning the Russian bot piece in a previous video. I've got that queued up and ready to go. Hi, St. Thomas 2009. Welcome to the live, my love. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's not belabor because it is late. Oh, I am so tired I could take off running, but I'm here. And we're going to get into it because my producers, Amal and Rasan and his family, they keep on, showing love to the Cash App, which means they want to see my content. And so I shall not disappoint my top two producers. If you'd like to be a producer of the Reparationist Perspective, you can Cash App me at $TRPTV. Okay? That would be so awesome because I'm demonetized. I'm being shadow banned. You know they don't like when I bring the TR Ruth over here, honey. I am praying that they don't shut this video down because I'm an intro. But it is what it is. So let me share my screen, family. We got to get into Joyless Reid and how we got here. Okay? It's more than just the fact that she called us Russian bots. It's more than that. And I want to show you why I am upset with all of these melanated immigrants getting positioned over the Negro to be our mouthpiece while censoring us over here on ScrewTube. That's right. We're being muzzled. We're being demonetized. We're being shadow banned. They're removing our videos. They're still carrying on with this nonsense. Even after Zuckerberg came out and said, yeah, we had to shut Angela, the Reparationist Perspective, whole channel down. She had 5,000 subs. And she's been over here since our inception. And we don't give a damn that all her photos are over here. We're shutting it all down because she's speaking against the Ovid K and she's speaking against the demon rats. And we can't have that. We want to be in control of the narrative. We want to control and be the propaganda machine. We want to be the misinformation and disinformation campaigns to keep them silly Negroes niggardly running to the polls to vote for their own erasure and replacement with immigrants, even the melanated ones, with money and nuclear families. Will destroy the Negro family and we'll put the nuclear melanated immigrant family who has money to pay for access to this country. We'll fly them in at night and replace the Negro while they sleep. We will extinct the line and we will give them presents. We will give them millions of reparations, taxes, and Social Security to undermine the Negro, to pretend to be the Negro. Hello, Joyless Reid, who got a Harvard education cosplaying African American. Oh, yes. Who was earning $6 million a year before her salary was cut to $3 million a year. What should have been a Negro job. But no, because to be a Negro and to love your people upsets whole campaigns. When you got someone like me speaking for years since Kamala threw her hat in the ring for a protest vote. Because that's what it's about, family. This ain't no party thing. It's a Negro flourishing thing. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Do you understand what I'm putting down? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? We have got to decimate these people. We have got to speak about their nefarious plans to destroy us, to take our position, because it is happening in real time. And I'm here to expose it because I need us to wake up. Yes, we did good. 28% of us heed the call for the protest voter strategy. This ain't about liking Trump, although I do like the things that Trump is doing. He's done more for us in 2 months than these demon rats have done for us in 70 years. Yes, he has. Okay, and one important thing I want to share before I get into the Joyless Reid segment, I want to show you something concerning what he recently did to make English a standard in this country. The very English that these immigrants aren't forced to speak because it's all about corporate money and greed. They did as much as they could with NAFTA to farm the jobs out of the Midwest. I came from such a Midwest, Ohio in the house, where they took away General Motors and they took away National Cash Register and left my town that I grew up in desolate. No industry. Farming everything overseas. That was the way that we grew wealth. That was the way we took care of the nuclear family. They got rid of that. And now they're coming for our salaries and they're able to get away with it. Even though we've got E-Verify, they're not forced to use it. So it's really a catch-22. But I saw long ago out here in California, I told y'all we the blueprint for getting rid of the Negro and demon-radically run cities. I told you that. And out here, they did it first. What they started doing was requiring, even though you can use it or not, they were requiring that you be bilingual just to get a job interview. In America, the country of our ancestors, the country that our ancestors built with their very lives, our blood and bones are embedded in that flag, as Kendrick Lamar showed you. Now, I didn't agree with everything Kendrick did. I don't like this beat with Drake. I don't like it going that direction. I think it would have been far more powerful to bring Drake out in the end. I hear Drake won a lawsuit of some sort for defamation. None of what Kendrick is spewing about him being at Edofalpe, if you know Pig Latin, you understand what I'm saying. I can't say them words over here. My channel will get a strike, and I can't afford no more strikes, or the channel will be removed. That part I don't agree with. But what he did to weave those brothers' bodies and those sisters into that message about that flag. I'm going to borrow from our sister guest, P. Ray Easley. We are the Negro Patriots. We're more patriotic than anyone in this country. We have fought in every war, and our ancestors died. They gave their bodies to heinous chattel slavery so that we could have the liberty to talk about it on ScrewTube or wherever we please by the First Amendment. But I digress. The bottom line is this requirement to be bilingual has cost many Negro jobs. And I want to show you a commercial real quick of a sister putting down what she went through. Family, I will get to you guys' comments towards the end of the broadcast, but keep them rolling, family. I love it. Okay. Yes, I want to show you this sister talking about how happy she is that Trump has made English. The demon rats didn't do that. The demon rats like to blame Trump for all of their diabolical terror concerning the Negro. They want to drag him because he does a black. They want to lie and say he is taking away Black History Month while he's hosting a whole entire event. Half of the people there, I know them personally, not personally, but like through social media. We're comrades throughout the country, locking arms and fighting with everything in us. We got the backbone of the ancestors who fought back. So they like to lie. They like to propagandize. They like to do what they call them. They like to do what I call fake checkers. They call themselves fact checkers. There ain't nothing factual about what they saying. Nothing. But they love to blame Trump for everything. He just got back in office. They've been in office 16 to 20 years, but Trump gets all the blame. But they won't talk about what he's doing correct. Also, what they love to do, stuff like separating families at the border. Who did that first? Barack Obama. Taking credit for Medicare payments going down. Who did that first? Trump. This is what the demon rats do. And if you would just use your critical thinking skills, if you would just go and Google and check for yourself, you'll see that when demon rats be for it, we must be abjectly opposed. And when they are opposed, that's the lesser of two evil for us. So without further ado, I want to share this before we get into the bigger story about Joyless Reid. I've got some extra goodies to share with you, along with a flashback to a video I recently did called "A Damn a Not Like Us, They Ain't Us," Part 2. I want to weave that into today's exchange. So stand by, family. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance. Okay. Here we go. Let me make sure you can see it and hear it. Oh, Lord knows I'm tired of that going down. Hold on one second. Okay, I can see it. There's me. There's it. Okay. Y'all type in the chat that you can hear it. I'm going to come back and check because last week I did about, I think the screw tube messed with it because of the music that was in that one video I tried to show y'all. And y'all, okay, hi Tip Reads. Okay, let me play the video and then you give me a thumbs up. Not yet. But last week, you guys were complaining you couldn't hear. It was a segment that I played that had some music. And I think, Michael Pan, I ain't playing the video yet, family. Just stand by. I'm going to play it in a second. I'm just speaking on last week, how I was playing a video. I think that ScrewTube actually, muted that part on purpose because there was music underneath it that was playing. So you couldn't hear it. So I'm going to play and then I'm going to go over and press play and I'm coming back and you let me know if you can hear it. Stand by. Just a second.
Who speaks English pick up. Like flexing their authority. This case came out that Donald.
You should be able to hear this just fine. I'm going to start it from the beginning.
So it just came out that Donald Trump is going to be signing an executive order making the United States official language as English. Love this. Let me tell you guys why. Okay. I also hope that in this executive order, he also makes companies stop requiring people to be bilingual, specifically Spanish, in order to be hired by their company. But this is a bigger issue that I see at play here, and I think that it's unfair and I don't like it. There are so many jobs that I was not able to qualify for based on me not being bilingual alone. Met all the other requirements, but because I'm not bilingual, I couldn't apply. Okay, so that's one thing that I dislike. The second thing is, let me tell you, I was working for a company, a healthcare company, won't say the name. At this company, we outsourced a language line for people who didn't speak English, right? So it was not a requirement to be bilingual in order to get hired for this company. Now, if you did speak Spanish, they did give you, I think a extra quarter or something like that, but for the most part, it was not a requirement to get hired because they outsourced the language line that spoke different languages from, Mandarin, Spanish, whatever, you name it. It was on that language line, right? So I remember so many Hispanic people calling in to this company that I was working for and refusing to speak English, even though they knew how to. Okay, let me tell you this one guy, he tripped me out. So of course, when they call in and they choose Spanish, right, and I pick up, I had this one guy tell me, why do you guys ask if we want Spanish, but then you have somebody who speaks English pick up? Like flexing their authority, right? Mad that why are you picking up? I asked for somebody Spanish speaking, so why are you picking up? And complaining about it to me in proper English, speaking just like me, mad, right? So then, of course, I'll offer them the language line because that's an option. Can't tell you how many people get upset because they don't want someone to translate for them, right? They don't want to speak with me and have to have a third party translate. They want to speak directly to the person. Now, for people who do not speak English at all, can't comprehend it, can't speak it, absolutely understand, right? Normally, those people don't have a problem with the language line. It's the ones who absolutely know how to speak and comprehend it, and they mad, which is mind-boggling to me. I don't understand why, as an American citizen, you are requiring me to learn a language that is not the official language of the United States because these people came over here. So now in order for me to get that job, I have to speak Spanish or Spanish speakers get paid more because they know how to speak a different language than I do. Why not make the people who are coming over here speak the language that's already here? Why are you forcing the American citizens to speak the language because there's a lot of them that are coming here? Why are you forcing American citizens to learn an outside language and then penalizing them if they don't know that language? And again, this is not a slight on the Hispanic community, but I do believe that it's unfair. No, in no other country, right? If you went to Mexico or Guatemala and their language is Spanish, they're not going to force you to speak English. You're going to have to learn whatever the language is of that land. Love this.
Okay, so family, basically, just to summarize, if you didn't pick up what she was putting down, she's saying that these people that were calling in did not like the fact that a Negro was answering the phone. When she was answering the phone just to transfer them to a language interpreter, someone who spoke their language, a translator or whatever, they didn't like the fact they spoke clear English and did not like the fact that she was answering the phone. They wanted the translator to answer the phone. They don't want us to have any jobs. They want our economic genocide in this country. That's how arrogant these immigrants are. And let me say a disclaimer before I move forward. I feel I need to do this every broadcast because I have been leaning in on immigration as the albatross around the necks of the Negro since the task force hearings out here in California. And you see how that's going. I'm going to dedicate next Sunday's broadcast to that in its entirety and bring receipts in the whole 9 yard to catch you guys up on the diabolical turn of events out here. But there's light at the end of the tunnel. A Republican, Bill Asaley, has picked up the bill for a Freedmen of Office Affairs out here. And I've got some language that I want to show you guys that are setting us up for the win. We, like I said, have the backbone of our ancestors who fought back. We're not just rolling over. We are going to persist until they unass our cash. But anyway, that's going to be a whole nother broadcast next Sunday. I don't have time to go through all of that today. But the long and short of it is the arrogance of these immigrants. Oh, let me back up. I was going to do my disclaimer. I am not anti-immigrant. Okay? I am anti the weaponization of our never-ending Holocaust by our government to uplift everyone but us to our economic genocide. And like I said on prior broadcast, I do well for myself. And a lot of the challenge is I'm trying to gain tribe. I'm trying to, this is what my calling has become because I went through this. I went through being phased out of Wells Fargo along with an onslaught of other Negroes. They literally went through and replaced all of us. You'd be hard pressed, even in Black communities, to find us working in retail, working at the grocery. Okay, so here we go. That commercial, they might be trying to take my thing away, but whatever. I'll go till I can't no more. If I'm not allowed to finish the broadcast, I'll try coming back with it and having it be pre-recorded and show it that way. I'm going to find a way to get my voice heard. But one of the reasons why I fight so hard is that I understand if they can do it to me, as degreed as I am, as much work experience as I have across industries, how much more is happening to our collective that is not degreed, that doesn't have the experience, that aren't homeowners. How much more is happening to the least of us? And I was raised in an environment where you took care of the village. Okay, the village raised me. My mom took care of those who were less fortunate, gave so many of my baby sisters' underpants away. We had to go out and buy new ones, fed everyone. So it's in me to fight for Negroes because that's all I've ever seen. That's all I've ever known. Our house was down the street from the projects. We were one of the first homeowners in this urban development on the west side of my hometown. So I'm in this fight because I understand the plight of our people, and I understand that it's our government that I take issue with. So I want to finish out my disclaimer. I'm anti the government's weaponization of our never-ending Holocaust to uplift everyone but us. You don't get to do that. Not on my watch, not as long as I have breath. It can come over here and rant about it. So I'm looking for the, like Ivy Dream said, I am a boule for Trump. I think she's AKA. Okay, so I'm looking for that ilk because we are the ones that are able to take on the government, able to read and to litigate and to negotiate. It's those of us who I am searching high and low for. So that's why I continue to go live. And you guys delivered Trump. You adhere to my protest bonus strategy. And I told y'all, I'm not coming back here if y'all don't get out here and do what I told y'all to do. But y'all delivered, so I'm here. Anyway, and I'm here until they unask our cash. And trying to grow from 28% support for the Negro, patriotism, I'm trying to grow it to about 50%. Okay? Yeah, I am trying to make it so that the demon rats no longer have control until they unask our cash. I ain't talking about no study. The only study I will accept is how much and for how long. But if you need a study, we got 1,100 pages and a 2-year, and you can borrow from some of the work that we got accomplished out here in California. That's what you can do, okay? But you're not about to be paid millions of dollars to study us into perpetuity, and you're the only one receiving reparations. Not on my watch. So HR 40 can go somewhere and die because it's dead on arrival. Anyway, back to what the young sister was saying. So they're arrogant. And I want you to understand that these immigrants got some freaking nerve to be in the country of our ancestors and insist that we not have jobs. They take care of each other. They're the ones at the hiring tables. And this is the demon rat and the rhino repugnant clans. Let me not leave them out. They're the ones who will not hold corporate responsible because they're all in bed together. They're all in bed together to extinct the Negro and along with it our justice claim. They're working in tandem, and I'm going to show you evidence of that in an article where Sean Hannity was coming to the defense of Joyless Reid. So they sit up here and they spar and they pretend to be on opposite sides, and you're racist and you're racist that. Oh, no, no, no. They're in it together, and we're going to explore that. But these corporations, and I stand by this, it don't matter how much you deport them. As long as they're still in control at the hiring tables, as long as these corporations aren't being sued for hiring them, for not following E-Verify and hiring Americans, as long as that's happening, deportations are for naught. if you're not going to hold these corporations responsible and accountable. Okay, so let me continue. Okay, I want to share. We're going to get into today's main topic, but do know that the corporations are responsible. They don't want us to pay us an American wage commensurate with the American cost of living. This is by design. And all of these melanated immigrants are complicit. And they want to be our voice. But let's share. Stand by. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance. So what I want to do is go over a couple of clips before I get into the flashback. Okay? That'll come after I show and expose some other things that Joyless Reid was out here doing. And we'll walk it out. We'll chew the elephant one bite at a time. So let me share this.
And I think it's important to say that, anyone who has experienced or been in the United States for any period of time and experienced this country's history and knows it cannot have believed that it would be easy to elect a woman president, let alone a woman of color. Let's just be clear. And nothing that was true yesterday about how flawlessly this campaign was run is not true now. I mean, this really was. And
I got a break in between so we can get through all the clips I want to share. What was flawless about Kamala's campaign? Put it in the chat. This is what I'm talking about. The gaslighting. These are demon rat shields. On this broadcast here, what is this? MSNBC, where she just was terminated from, lying through her teeth. Kamala, number one, would barely do an interview. When she did, she spun a lot of word salad. She offended and insulted Negroes by not addressing the fact that she ain't one. She was going to cosplay that till the wheels fall off. Then she went on a show that didn't get as much visibility, Club Shay Shay, to admit that she only had proximity to blackness. And that to her made her one of us when it does not. She bought out these trash artists that pretty much sell pedophilia pay to these ratchet men and being the poster girls for our young people who love them, Cardi B, Beyonce, Meg the. She bought these people out and paid them millions of dollars. I think she wasted like $2 billion. Most of what went to these entertainers whose blues ain't like the blues of the soil. We have nothing in common. And yet that's who she chose to pay. She paid Oprah an obscene amount of money. Al Sharpton. Who else? Roly Poly Martin. Yeah. There was nothing flawless about it. She told us even in her own campaign run before she had to drop out, because she said from the gate, I'm not doing anything specific for black folks, all the while cosplaying blackness because you went to a university and because you pledged an AKA and because you had proximity to them. You didn't even really grow up here. You grew up in Canada. She ran on abortion. They had a whole abortion truck outside of the DNC convention in Chicago. That's flawless, Joyanne Reid. She tried to lie and pivot, but said that she wouldn't do anything different. So And if she had been the Negro, because for 4 years, she weaponized our Freedmen Bank to host a forum with Treasurer Secretary Janet Yellen. She held a Freedmen Bank forum for 4 years to give away our reparations to the banks and to immigrants. So, what was flawless about her campaign again? She fought harder for LGBTQ and transgender rights than she ever did the Negro. She was a border czar before she wasn't, because she was trying to distance herself while at the same time saying she would not do anything different. But these are the people who are paid millions for the spin cycle to gaslight, while voices like mine get muzzled. Voices like mine get shadow banned. Voices like mine get whole Facebook pages shut down. Let's continue.
An historic, flawlessly run campaign. She had Queen Latifah never endorses anyone. She came out and endorsed. She had every prominent celebrity voice. She had the Taylor Swift, she had the Swifties, she had the Beehive. Like, you could not have run a better campaign in that short period of time. And I think that's still true. And I think it's important to say that, anyone who has experienced or been in the United States for any period of time and experienced this country's history and knows it cannot have believed that it would be easy to elect a woman president, let alone a woman of color. Let's just be clear. And nothing that was true yesterday about how flawlessly this campaign was run is not true now. I mean, this really was an historic, flawlessly run campaign. She had Queen Latifah.
Okay, I'm done with that one. Let's go to the next slide. These are just some things I haven't shown you before that I'm showing you now, okay? To make my case as to why we need to turn off all of those people at the intro in my commercial. And I may show it again to book in the broadcast, okay? Just a second. Let me share. Oh, let me open it up first, guys. And dolls. Yeah. Hold on. Please be sure to like, slow. This is ridiculous, family. Oh, God. Can we just please get through the broadcast without all this drama? Okay, guys. I got it pulled up. Let me share.
So we're talking about incest.
Let me back it up. Listen to this nonsense. First, let me read you the X file on this. Let me escape the large screen. So, Suzanne states, I'm happy to see her cry. It feels so good. Not only did she spread constant lies, but the books she says she stood up for were reprehensible. Anyone who believes that a child should be actualized, say, is a editor prey themselves. One of many examples, Joy Reid argues with the mother who doesn't want her child or any child to read books about XA in school. But Joyless Reid fights hard for children to be read ornography pay. I hope you picked up what I'm putting down, but you'll understand once you see the video, okay?
Appropriate for students to read. What a tragic story of a young man who's by his adult family member. So you have incest.
Thank you, Martin.
In what context is a strap-on dildo acceptable for public school?
I'm interviewing you, and you're not interviewing me.
And we're talking about incest, rape, and pedophilia.
Each parent has to decide what is appropriate for their child to read. So I want you to answer. I'm going to ask you one more time.
Right.
What is your right to tell a parent who wants their child, who might feel seen by this story? Don't they have the right as a parent to say, my child can have access to this book?
If a child feels seen by this story, that means that they have been the victim of a predator.
Appropriate for students to read.
What a tragic story of a young man who's by his adult family member. So you have incest. In what context is a strap-on dildo acceptable for public school?
I'm interviewing you, and you're not interviewing me.
And we're talking about incest, rape, and pedophilia.
Each parent has to decide what is appropriate for their child to read. So I want you to answer. I'm going to ask you one more time.
Right.
What is your right to tell a parent who wants their child, who might feel seen by this story? Don't they have the right as a parent to say, my child can have access to this book?
If a child feels seen by this story, that means that they have been the victim of a predator.
Appropriate for students.
So, this is the kind of demon-ratic shill kind of nonsense that Joyless Reid was in support of. So you want the public schools to share these kinds of books and content with our children so that the less than 1% who come from that background can have access to this kind of literature in the schools. That is what she is in defense of. That is what they're fighting for. And I'm here to tell you, what's that got to do with anything? But this is what they love to do. They love to take our civil rights that our ancestors fought and died for. And they love to misappropriate it to all these other groups that Trump already told y'all don't belong. The 14th Amendment was not about them. It's about us. Affirmative action was not about them. It was about us. But what the demon rights love to do is pile on. They love to pile on and make up all this other stuff and all these other reasons to spread their diabolical, debaucherous ways all throughout the world. I showed you on the previous broadcast how they're taking their LGBTQ transgender agenda worldwide, and they're using USAID money that they're laundering allegedly because these countries aren't getting the full breadth and depth of those resources. And none of the money that the demon rats gave away in the 16 of 20 years are they getting 100% of that. But why in the world are we as taxpayers paying for you to spread your LGBTQ agenda throughout the world? Why is our reparations, taxes, and Social Security being used to do that? And it's problematic because it is destroying the nuclear Black family. When you make our never-ending Holocaust about the LGBTQ and immigrants, it's to our economic genocide. Let's move on. Sorry, guys. This font's a little bit small. Just a second, guys. I have to put my readers on. Okay. Oh, no, I don't want to show that one. Hold on. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you in advance. Is this one open? Okay. So we're going to unpack this crybaby stuff that she's on. Hold on. Okay, hold on, guys. And dolls. I know y'all have seen some of these from other broadcasts, but it's their perspective, then there's mine, okay? Y'all know I'm always tell it like a TR is and tell the TR Ruth over here through the reparationist perspective, okay? Thank you, thank you. Here we go. So here she is breaking down in tears, but I got some things to say about it.
My show had value. And
excuse me, Joyless, Reid. No, your show did not have value. Your show helped to undermine us. In our fight for reparations, you called us Russian bots. When you know that would put a mark on us. You and your ilk are making it so difficult for us to get business done concerning the Negro. And the reason you're doing this is because you're not owed anything for migrating to a country that was already racist before you chose to migrate here. To my understanding, she's from the Congo, not Haiti, as you'll hear in the next, in the flashback that I'm going to share over here before I read your comments and pray us out. Your show had no value concerning the Negro. You weaponized our never-ending Holocaust for your own comeuppance to the tune of $3 million a year. Calling us Russian bots for fighting for a debt that is owed, for slavery, Jim Crow, and accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their very lives. What you and your ilk are doing would be akin to me going to your country and demanding whatever benefits you're due given colonizers. That would be akin to that. Now, why would I be owed? Even if I was born there, first or second gen, why would I be owed anything owed to your lineage? But that is happening in real time right now. Pan-Africans and melanated immigrants undermining us at every turn. That is not value. That is not value. It's a traitor and it's treason that our ancestors built this country with their lives, then fought for y'all to be here to be allies. And you were for a spell until you got access to whiteness. Then you became Crayola with 3 Ks, wanton white supremacists. That is who you are. Stand on your square. Let's keep going.
I'm sorry. That what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And I think this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And that it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt to be
I don't know why this is cutting up today.
Or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life and defended them.
Yeah. So this is what happens when you flatten Blackness and you make your platform about everybody but the Negro. That is what she did. And so we got a lot of bleeding heart Negroes who are out here wailing and crying over immigrants more than they are their own kin, their own brothers and sisters. And that's the gargantuan assignment I've got to help our people, those who are willing to open up their third eye, which is the first eye, to see this thing plainly as it is.
Or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution.
Okay, so that's only concerning Trump. Did you talk about all these reparations of ours that is being spent on proxy wars? Did you ever admonish Joe Crow and Skamala for opening the borders to 25 million illegal criminals like to and asylum seekers when they're not fleeing any war? Did you tell them you're putting unvetted, unvaxxed illegal criminals into predominantly democratically run cities, which are predominantly black, and how we have been leveled by Joe Crow's 94 crime bill, which was signed into law by Bill Clinton and weaponized against us? Did you tell them it's not okay that the black folks delivered you and you said that you would have their backs and all you ever delivered was a hip hop holiday and Juneteenth, which we were already celebrating, which benefits mostly whites and immigrants since we suffer the highest rates of unemployment in the country? Did you have any smoke for them for that? Did you have any smoke for them for having an abortion clinic outside of the DNC convention in Chicago when we've already given about 100 million babies back to God? Y'all still, did you argue with them? Why aren't you giving the Negro reparations? Why are you feeding them more abortion to murder their babies while allowing illegal criminals to give birth the minute they touch soil and to birth citizens? Did you have anything to say about that? I never heard it. If anybody got footage of her saying anything in opposition to what I'm spinning right now, put it in the chat. Did you tell them how opening these borders to 25 million and then using our reparations taxes and Social Security to take care of them in our communities while we suffer the highest rates of homelessness, unemployment, and underemployment? Did you talk to them about that? Did you ever say any of this on your broadcast? No, because you're a demon rat shill. You are there to do politics on behalf of the demon rats. And you know good and well, unless you get them black folks on that, the Negro on that hate Trump train, which is all she ran on, calling him Hitler, all this manner of thing. That's all y'all did while having no policies to make the Negro whole. And that's why they're getting rid of all of y'all. I think Al Sharpton is next.
Is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country, whether it's talking about any of these issues. And yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. And I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so
it's proxy wars of God. It's pouring all this money into Ukraine to fight Russia, God. Okay, so you talked about Israel and the Palestinians. But what about the wars in this country? What about the genocide happening to unarmed black men and women and children in this country? Where's your passion and your speeches for that? How in the world can journalists be aligned with parties and end up being mouthpieces for specific parties, but you call yourself a journalist, which means you should be neutral? I'm real clear my mission over here. It's my people. Nobody pays me to do this. I got a couple of people that patronize the broadcast. Look forward to the day when there'll be more of that. But I got a fight to be heard, and you've got MSNBC, but you can't get on there and do what I do here. And even when you come to this space, you'll still have your followers. But you too were fighting for censorship. All of y'all. You, AOC, Skamala, Hillary Clinton, Crooked Hillary, all of y'all wanting to censor us because you don't want to admit that our voices in this space to freely speak the truth about who you are and what you're doing to undermine the Negro. Y'all don't want that truth to be out because the demon rats want to control and propagandize and fake news us to death. And they got the money to do it.
I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
Well, we are glad it's gone. Very, very happy it is done. With that being said, family, it's 6:30, 7:30. Okay, I'm doing pretty good. Let me play the flashback, and then I'll get to your comments and pray us out. I want to say it's about 15 minutes, y'all. Just a second. For those of you who may not have seen it, it's important to memorialize it here in this broadcast. Hi, BB. Hi, Knight Rider. Michael Penn. I see y'all. I'll come over, give love in a second, okay? Let's play this, and then we can move to your comments. Stand by. So this is a flashback for those of you who didn't see this episode. It is part 2 of A Damn or Not Like Us, They Ain't Us. So please be sure to catch the entire broadcast. It was very rich. But I want to finish us out with this flashback before I get to your comments. And this is where we pick it up, okay? Because I think we still have a part 2 to get through of that live from last week, okay? Yeah, we do. Hopefully I can cue it up in the right spot where we left off. Okay, hold on, guys. Just a second. Thank you for your patience. Y'all know I wear all the hats. I'm the little engine that could over here, y'all. The struggle is real, okay? Yes. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. Okay, that's that. So we got to get to that one next. Okay, let's share. Thank you for your patience, my loves. Okay. I appreciate you. I really do. Okay, hold on, guys. Okay, that's Obama. I don't really want to. I want him to be last before I go into that thing. So let's get to Joyanne Reid. I think that's all the slides that are left. Lord, I thought I queued it up in the right place, y'all. It's coming. So let's talk about Joyanne Reid. See, this is a problem. This is a problem that these people have been able to come up in our spaces and call us Russian bots, all the while cosplaying us to get into these mainstream media spaces and make millions. I think Joyanne Reid may make about 3 to 5 million annually, something like that, cosplaying us. So let me show you her going back and forth. Let's deal with this one over here in Racebook. I had to dig this one up. This is when we first formed the former ADOS movement. At the behest of Yvette, who said, go out there and be the solution. And that's what we went and did. Just to recap. When we first joined, this trick had this trick on here talking about we were Russian bots. This is from Breaking Brown, February 2nd, 2019. We were new at this, y'all. We were babies. But we were determined to upset the norms. We were determined to break every chain when it came to this demon rat derailment that we were on, this genocidal Titanic that we were on. We were determined. And we corralled all throughout the country. We had ADOS chapters cropping up. That's how they got the hashtag, because we had already owned ADOS, okay? Yvette, it was her acronym, American Descendants of Slavery. Those were our humble beginnings. Now we know what, family? We want to band together. Black American Negro descendants. So once again, commercial. If you want to be a part of the band, which brings together our free and free Negroes under one band on that ACS survey that's coming out soon, please Gmail me at the reprospect@gmail. It's scrolling in the description bar below, and it's also a part of the description caption on this live, okay? Anyway, back to the text. So, Breaking Brown states, Joy Reid attempts to discredit. Well, it wasn't a hashtag then. It wasn't that. We were just ADOS. The ADOS movement by calling it the work of bots. Okay? The movement was smeared by Joy Reid and Digital Sister. This woman's name is Shireen. Okay? So let's listen.
So much committed support from the Black community for a particular candidate. So these kinds of things that are happening at this moment, we have to pay a little bit more close attention to it because there is nuance. But there are also identifying factors. For example, right now, from the Black Identity Framework, there's a new sort of hashtag and or identity that's in your bios called ADOS or DOS, which is standing for Descendants of Slaves. So it's the indication that they are someone who was born in, as a descendant in the United States, who's representing Black America and has the vernacular and the language that people would believe is someone who's a part of our community, who's either debating about Camilla or debating about Booker, because that's who just announced, and trying to say, we know who's the most, who's Black in America, and making sure that they're, sort of talking in this vernacular that makes it look like that they are in support.
Black American.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see a huge uptick in bot activity when it came to when Kamala Harris announced. Like it just dropped like a bomb. It just happened really quickly. And she was accused of being not really Black. Not really Black.
And that kept going. You could see that happening. But actually, there was an uptick of those bots just before she was about to announce. So they were preparing for her announcement.
Yeah. And so, Simon,
You see what happened?
I was all but 22.
When the likes of these people, forgive the background noise, clearly it was very difficult to find this segment. I was trying to find it where it was clear. Khan was taping it from their phone at home. They were recording, and then you could hear a kid in the background. So forgive the background noise. But what I want you to observe is how we, the former ADOS movement, were already exposing to people as soon as Kamala threw her hat in the ring that she wasn't Black. Fast forward to her recent campaign, she all but admitted it. If you go back to last week's broadcast, you will see her admit on Club Shay Shay that she isn't Black. She's Black adjacent, meaning her mama's friends were Black. Her mother intentionally put her around Blackness, for her to learn our ways so that she could cosplay us for such a time as now. Yeah, that was intentional. She pretty much shares it in last week's live where I show you the video from Club Shay Shay. She didn't tell America she wasn't Black because she needed Negroes to put on the cake for her, which 92% of Black women did. They fought harder for her Blackness, which she ain't Black, than they do their own people. They fought harder for her to be us than they fight for us. Because if you are really fighting for your own people, you'd have never cast your vote for Kamala. You'd have cast it for third party, or you would have cast it for Trump. You can't call yourself being for your people and still showing up to vote for abortion and LGBTQ and transgender. Okay? And public school education that's failing our children. You can't love your people and vote for this. I don't believe so. So yeah, you would even stay out of it like many of our people did. I can't get a real count, but the bottom line is lots of people sat it out, which is customary. 40% of us normally sit it out. I'm employing upon us to weaponize the vote over sitting it out. That's what I'm employing upon us to do. Okay? We need to do that because I would venture to say that sitting it out is how we got to the bottom. Not weaponizing our vote like the other groups do. Let's continue. This stuff here. So here we have Sabby Sab, shout out to her. No wonder Angela Reid folded her arms when Jill Stein mentioned reparations. This woman accused ADOS of being Russian bots. Oh, honey, the tea is hot with this one. So here we go. Dap ADOS Tribe says, how ironic was it that Angela Reid was a part of the Jill Stein Breakfast Club interview? So here we go. Black critics of Kamala Harris and Cory Booker push back against claims that they're Russian bots. Angela Reid and Reid have speculated that ADOS, using the hashtag ADOS to critique Harris and Booker, are Russian bots. We didn't have the hashtag at that time. That came later because ADOS was taken by us, the co-founders all throughout the country of the former ADOS movement. But I digress. I'm not going to get into the weeds on that. So yeah, these are the enemies that are working against us while cosplaying us in our spaces, speaking for us, and they ain't us. Let's keep going. Got more to share. This is some bullshiggity here. And they got the microphone. They got more viewers than I've got. They got more followers than I've got. I'll be able to read your comments momentarily, family. I got to finish doing this. Okay. So shout out to Black Alpha Network. Non-FBA shield Joy Reid tried to cosplay Black American culture last night at the RNC convention, even though she's an anchor tether from a Haitian background. Let's get into it. She's from the Congo family. This is what they do, not Haiti.
It's ironic that they were able to recruit this young woman who, you know, and she's a racially ambiguous. I don't want to say she's Black because she has said she's not. So I don't want to say this Black woman, this woman, whatever race that she has claimed, she said she's not Black. But they brought somebody.
Do y'all see how they just step in and out of Blackness as if we're not a whole ethnic group over here? As if we're not a whole ethnicity? They get to dictate when they want to be Black and when they don't. That's a whole mess. That's why we're fighting for delineation from all of them. We want to take all of our identifiers back. Black American and African American. People that descend from other countries should not be able to ID as us. They're not us. They didn't get here till after the 1968 Immigration Act. But I digress.
Whose whole career is based in Black culture. She used to be on a show on BET. That's the reason most people know who she is. She dated one of the most prominent African-American rappers in the business in the history of hip hop. You know, so her whole culture came from Black culture, even though she says she's not a Black person herself. And the fact that she is now the person they're using to try to recruit young people of color and to say that this is the person who is the endorser of Donald Trump, who you should trust, when she won't even claim the culture that brought her to the table. I'm dubious that this will work. I don't know anyone who takes their political cues from Amber Rose, but just in case you do, you might want to duplicate doing your own research because she might not have done it thoroughly.
I, too, am the child of immigrants. And African Americans and people who consider ourselves African Americans, some of us have parents who are immigrants who are immigrants from Haiti, from the Caribbean, from Africa, from around the world.
So why in the world? Let's play that again for kicks and giggles.
So it's ironic that they were able to recruit this young woman who, and she's a racially ambiguous. I don't want to say she's black because she has said she's not. So I don't want to say this black woman.
It's
this
offensive.
woman who is of whatever race that she has claimed. She said she's not black. But they brought somebody whose whole career is based in black culture. She used to be on a show on BET.
Is it Joy Reid's whole career based in black American culture? While she's sitting up here calling the racially ambiguous Amber Rose a cosplayer? Let's continue.
The reason most people know who she is. She dated one of the most prominent African-American rappers in the business in the history of hip-hop. So her whole culture came from black culture, even though she says she's not a black person herself. And the fact that she is now the person they're using to try to recruit young people of color and to say that this is the person who is the endorser of Donald Trump, who you should trust.
Excuse me, so we should trust someone like her, who's a Haitian immigrant? Is that what they said? I'll go back to it. She's a tether. So are we supposed to trust people like her and Roly-Poly Martin, who are tethers over here? We're supposed to trust them and take our political cues from people who want our vote to erase and replace us? We were once 4 million upon emancipation. We grew to 50 million. Even though Crayola, wanton, white supremacists with 3 Ks, boot has been on our neck the whole ride for hundreds of years, for centuries, we still managed to get to 50 million. Now, how many more millions will they get to grow to if this continues with the black vote? Voting for demon rats. Will they reach 100 million? 150 million with our reparations, our taxes, and our Social Security? Let's continue.
When she won't even claim the culture that brought her to the table, I'm dubious that this will work. I don't.
They only claim the culture when it's time to speak on behalf of the culture or when it's time to give cosplayers the vote, like Skamala. Other than that, they're waving their flags. They jumping up and waving. They get to slip in and out of our culture to their economic advantage and to our economic genocide. Let's continue.
Don't know anyone who takes their political cues from Amber Rose, but just in case you do, you might want to duplicate doing your own research because she might not have done it thoroughly.
I, too, am the child of immigrants. And African Americans and people who consider ourselves African Americans, some of us have parents.
African Americans and people who consider ourselves African American. You either African American or you're not. This is some nonsense that Skamala did on Club Shay Shay. I don't descend from Black American culture, but my proximity and my closeness to them makes me one. My going to an HBCU and screaming ski-wee all over the campus makes me one. Y'all done bumped your entire heads, and I'm exposing all of y'all because I am over it. I am done with this cosplaying us to our ethnocide genocide. I am done. Done. Stick a fork in me.
Parents who are immigrants from Haiti, from the Caribbean, from Africa, from around the world.
Does not make you African American. And that's why we're fighting for delineation. If you want to join us, please Gmail me. I want the ACS survey, and we'll get you connected to that survey to put a band around Black American Negro descendants. So the monies that these people are getting will be funneled to us. That's what we're fighting for. To come out from under all of this powwow with all these immigrants who clearly know what to do and what to say for a seat at the table. And if you're not at the table, family, you are on the menu. The Negro is on the menu and has been for some time now. Let's continue. Now, this I'm going to show you is priceless because Eddie Glaude, although he gets on my nerves as one of the freaking boule, slipping back and forth into consciousness, into Negro consciousness at his discretion for his paycheck. But here he exposes that the Negro is not a freaking bot. Take a look at Joy's face. Here we go. This is Ken Gutowski. I don't even know who this is. Looks like maybe an ally. Who knows? The look on Joy Reid's face when a Princeton professor tells her that American descendants of slavery are not Russians, are not bots. You can see her seething rage with her cockamamie Trump wig on. However, this panel of talkers still incorrectly paints ADOS as Skamala birtherers and domestic operatives that benefit Trump. Hold on one second.
But I think it's really important for us to
it's low, y'all. I can't.
But I think it's really important for us.
Let me make sure it's all the way up, y'all. Let me see if I can put some subtitles on. Hold on, y'all. Because the volume is low and it's 1:27. I don't see a way to do that under settings, y'all. I apologize, but this is important. I got to play it.
But I think it's really important for us to make some distinctions here. Clint Watts, who's come on MSNBC on a regular basis, has regularly reported that it's not only the Russians. So what we saw in the election in 2016 was in some ways a kind of weaponization of processes that were evident or is evident throughout the American election system. And what he was saying is not only just simply foreign forces deploying these techniques, but domestic forces deploying these techniques. So not only with $100 million, what can Trump do? Right now, what can candidates do? If there aren't any, what can operatives do? Right? So it's not just simply oppo research anymore. Something else can happen in the context of our election system. And in the context of birtherism and what happened to Senator Harris, there are folks out there, the ADOS movement, the American descendants of slaves, who are making hay in all sorts of places across the country and have a presence on the web. They're not bots. They're not Russian folk. They're actually trying to have an impact on the way in which we talk about race in this country. And unless we understand and be able to differentiate these various forces, we're going to lump them all into the same thing and not understand the nature of the dangers that we face in our election system.
I mean, and listen, I guess the toxic brew that seems to be getting mixed up in the kitchen.
Did y'all see her face? Let's do it again.
Right? So it's not just simply oppo research anymore. Something else can happen in the context of our election system. And in the context of birtherism and what happened to Senator Harris, there are folks out there, the ADOS movement, the American descendants of slaves, who are making hay in all sorts of places across the country and have a presence on the web. They're not bots. They're not Russian.
Look at her. Look at her with her bad built body Trump wig on. That's a little darker than I've seen. Do you see her seething? This is where it all started because Skamala was cosplaying us. We exposed it. And so she and Angela Reid with tomatoes and lettuce on the side, shout out to the Black Authority for that one, started an entire smear campaign to call us Russian bots, akin to what Bernie Sanders and all these other and Crooked Hillary. When Crooked Hillary lost to Trump, all of a sudden it was Russian bots. It was Russia. She did to us what crooked Hillary and Bernie Sanders did to give her cover from having her ass handed to her by Trump, his first term. But she slips in and out of Black Americanness and earns $1 bazillion to be our voice while undermining our efforts for delineation and reparations. This is what y'all keep signing up for when you support these type of people. You need to pull all support from tethers who are in our spaces. That's Roland Martin needs to have all Negro support pulled from him. Reid, all Negro support. And when you see anyone being injurious and trying to sell you the soap on sellout demon rats to keep you in a perpetual cycle of fighting for survival, fighting to flourish in the country of your ancestors. These are the very ones who, under the umbrella of Pan-Africanism, want to be cut into our reparations because of a discrimination that they chose to migrate into what we were drugged into by chains, by our ancestors paying the biggest price, their lives, to build the wealthiest country in the world. They get to freely come over here and climb right over top of us to our economic genocide. And y'all keep supporting them with your views and your clicks and your vote to your own lineage peril in the country of our ancestors. You're dealing with a party, the Demon Rats, who will not even talk black to you when we get folks murdered by the race soldiers and the deputized. When Scabala does some trick shit like talk about how she's got to keep nonviolent offenders incarcerated to put out white fires in the White Hills. How many of those lost their lives putting out the most recent fires out here? Nonviolent offenders, while the state turns a profit on the very weed they were locked up for. But y'all keep voting for this. You won't weaponize your vote when the Demon Rats have clearly declared war on the Negro and has been doing it for 70 years. Let me keep going. Stand by, y'all. I think I'm going to stop it there. That was good enough. You guys get the point. You all get the point. Let's go to your comments. I'm only going to read the pertinent ones. It's getting late, especially on the East Coast. It's time for y'all to go bed by. But I sure appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Let's go through these quickly. Okay, so first, let's go to Funny Face's first comment. Funny Face was getting on your sister. At TRP. I thought you were above this foolishness, but you know I love it. It's nice to have fun sometimes. Oh, yes, listen, I am Miss Petty Boots. I am. I love being petty, and I love when I find our genius all through the X-Files, and I love to broadcast it here as the intro to my show, like when I'm about to delve into a topic and I find a good commercial, I will be Miss Petty Boots and highlight it at the top of the show. Okay, so then Funny Face says, yep, very fitting. I agree, dear sister. That introduction was on point. They deserve the disrespect. I think I'm going to close it out with that. Oh, I think I already shut it down. I won't tarry. I've kept you guys long enough. I'm done with being Miss Petty Boots because I don't want to try to fish that out again. I closed it down. Okay, so Michael Pan, good evening. I contacted State Texas Representative Gene Wu staffers to push cash payment reparations for Black American freedmen of chattel slavery at the state level. It is a work in progress. Thank you to one of our staunchest allies, Michael Pan, and thank you for the emails. Michael, I will get to some of your articles and be able to share the reparationist perspective on your articles, but as you see, I can barely get through all the stuff I've got open that I've got to actually share with my viewers, but I do appreciate you sharing. Thank you. Yo, that intro was fire, says Shower Prophet. Wasn't it? Oh my gosh, it was so epic. When I saw it over on the X-Files, I thought, do I dare push the envelope and have this be the commercial? It was so befitting. I just had to do it. I had to be Miss Petty Boots. Funny Face says, I don't see your Cash App link. Don't want to try to remember it when I am sending you any cash. Cash App is really funny style. Well, it's scrolling in the bar below, and it's in the description box of this broadcast. It's $TRPTV, capital T, capital R, capital P for the Reparationist Perspective TV. So thank you so much. I love the English being the national language for America. They have denied me jobs because I didn't speak English. So glad it's the official language now. So they owe me reparations just for that. Funny Face, what do you mean you didn't speak English? I think you mean you don't speak Spanish. If you're happy that English is the national standard, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I think you speak English very well because you write it very well. So I think you made a typo. But yes, I'm very glad for that. I don't want to hear people ride Trump and not be able to tell me what he's done so egregious as the 94 crime bill and open borders of unvaxxed, unvetted illegal criminals dropped into our communities while using our reparations, taxes, and Social Security to take care of them over the Negro who still suffers the highest rates of homelessness, unemployment, and underemployment. I don't want to hear you disparage a man that you can't point out what he did as heinous as that, and then not be able to give him credit when he's trying to do things like deport these criminals, all of them, because like Pam Bondi said, they're all criminal. I don't care that the Demon Rats sold y'all a bill of goods, that they are asylum seekers. They crossed a bazillion countries just to get to this one. For the handouts, they knew the Demon Rats are seeking to ethnocide, genocide us. And so, yeah, they're giving them the reparations, our taxes and Social Security to come into our communities and kill us with all manner of disease, and also to take us out. These gangs that they're letting out of the prisons to bring them here, Trump is trying to get that out. But he's not just taking them out. There's a glare. He's also not just taking them out. What he's also doing is going after others, because they're all criminal. It's not just the ones that go out here and have been caught and released. If you're in this country illegally and you didn't take care of that in 30 years, that makes you a criminal. I don't care that you paid into the tax base. I bet you sent more money home to build a life there. In the event this day came, you still gonna be all right. You're all criminals. So I know that you're under this illusion of inclusion because Joe Crow and Skamala left the borders wide open for you to ethnocide my people, but it doesn't absolve you of the fact that you're a criminal. It's illegal to come into the country. Okay. It's illegal to cross here in the manner that you did. Okay. Maybe some of them will self-deport, as Brother Marcel said. They take the money away and no more requirements to speak Spanish and English. Many immigrants will leave the country. So satisfying. Absolutely, Funny Face. That is what Trump is doing. But I don't hear no Demon Rats. I don't hear no CNN. I don't hear no MSNBC talking up how that benefits the Negro. They can sure displace all the things they've done the 16 or 20 years to drive this country into an ish-hole country. They can blame that on Trump, who's just been back for 2 months, but they don't talk up how he's deporting, how he's taking federal benefits from them, SNAP, and he's starving them out. How they're now gone into hiding because they know they're illegally here. But what I really want to see him do is to find these corporations up the wazoo. I want him to really go hard in the paint against these corporations because they are as guilty as the illegals who cross the border. They're hiring them. And you can tell because you can see who's hiring illegals by how scarce their construction sites are. Yeah, they're complicit, and I want them all in jail, and I want them to face heavy, heavy fines. I hope Trump does that. That's a hope. All right. Joyless was a senseless talking head. Correct, Tip Reads. Welcome to the live. Nothing was flawless. It was the most flawed campaign to date. Q-Lang, you said that, fam. The campaign was a parade of celebrities, and that's it. Who got paid up the wazoo, who don't have anything in common with the soil. Their wealth separates them from us, and then they want to sit up here and run the demon rats because they're paid to do so. They're paid to be them out. Oh, Lord, I am so tired of them messing with my broadcast tonight, y'all. I am sorry. We're almost done. Praise God. I have a feeling they're going to try to strike it because of that intro, but we'll see. Makes sense to me at TRP. Your exploration and disclaimer of your not being anti-immigrant, but many have been so mistreated by this anti-Negro society, and especially in my case, these blue states. Family, I'm in a blue state. I understand. And I understand anybody who chooses to dislike immigrants because of their wanton white supremacist mistreatment of you. I, as a person who represents the Negro in these spaces, I try to find allies too. It's not all of the immigrants. Michael Pan, as a matter of fact, he's a real staunch ally. You know, I do believe he's Asian, and he is constantly fighting on our behalf. And so we got a few immigrants who are more like John Brown than they are wanton Crayola wanton white supremacists. So I do want to always be clear because, of course, I'm being blamed and accused of being racist. Speaking of which, Megyn Kelly and all you ignorant dingbats in the screw tube space that wants to call the Negro racist. One thing Joyless Reid cannot be, Megyn, is racist. She doesn't control the majority of the wealth in this country to oppress anyone. Now, she can undermine us. She can be prejudiced against us, but she nor we can ever be racist. The only thing we can be is prejudice. We don't have any money, which means we don't have any power to oppress whole ethnic groups. That would be y'all. So please stop it with that nonsense that the Negro or melanated immigrants are racist. Hi, Martin. Welcome to the live, fam. Thank you, funny face. Appalling. Night Rider, you said it, baby. It's Black genocide. Absolutely it is. Can you say your Cash App name again? I'll write it down. Please spell it because Cash App is unforgiving. You understand? Okay, I'm gonna put it in the I'm gonna put it down here in the comments. Okay. Thank you so much for being persistent. TRP TV. I appreciate you, fam. $ TRP. Go. Y'all, they are messing with my live in a way that I've never seen before. This is crazy. The readers are jazzy. Oh, thank you, love. I have so many to match all of my fits. What? So glad Team and Wig is finally off the air. What good is a tether? Raps. Okay. I was like, what are you talking about? You're talking about her Donald Trump wig in various colors. Clearly, she had a couple of colors. So glad Team and Wig is finally off the air. What good is a tether that cosplays as a Black American only to push the status quo? That's the way they get it over. That's the way they get the Negroes to drink the cyanide and to be on their side and to fight harder for them to stay on the air than they do for reparations. TYSM for the live. Thank you so much for the live. You are so welcome, family. Hi, Queen Yasmin. Good evening. I contact state. Oh, Michael's saying that again. Okay, baby. I already read that. Come on, everyone. Let's make the likes match the chat. So TRP will have 100% engagement. Come on, reps. I need to give you a wrench. If only I knew how. She don't look like us. Ivy Dreams, I'm so glad you hit on that. There is something very unique about the Negro. It's almost like we all have the same daddy. I swear. I'm just teasing, but we look very different than the Caribbean and the African melanated immigrant. Very different. You can see the difference. I'm glad you said that. It's true. Hi, BB. Saboteur. Joyless Reid. Meanwhile, she took Melissa Harris Perry job with no complaints. Ain't that a blip? Ain't that something? She absolutely did, BB. She did. She had no issues taking. Now, Melissa Harris Perry was replaced because she said, you're not going to censor me. I'm going to call it like I see it. Then Melissa should have known she was about to be replaced. Okay. So she also was replaced. It's not just solely about race because Al Sharpton, who's Negro, a sellout Coonan one, albeit, his ratings and viewership is lower than Joyless Reid's, and he's still there. So clearly she must have said something maybe against Israel, and that got her canceled. Her ratings were tanking, but everybody's ratings over there is down since they could not deliver the Demon Rats. But she and about 4 other people, Black folks, were actually fired, Black shows. But they're replacing it with sellout Simone Sanders, Michael Steele, and some other Latino woman. They're just replacing Joy and Reid show with those 3. Child, you know how these white folks are, honey. When they're done with their tools, they'll break them. BB, where's the lipstick? Okay, I'm only going to read it's important to ignore Dems because Michael's right. It is important to ignore the Demon Rats because they are not going to cash payment reparations for Black American freedmen of chattel slavery. It's time to focus on for voting for green, red, etc. Exactly, Michael. That's my whole premise. You eke out tangibles elsewhere. To me, it's a tangible to get rid of all these illegals. It'll help Negroes to get gainful employment and drive the wages up. That's the hope and the prayer. Okay? So you're absolutely correct. You can no longer vote for the Demon Rats. They've shown you for 70 years what they are bent on doing with us. Weaponizing our never-ending Holocaust to economically genocide us. You should see the writing on the wall by now. And if you don't, I got about 400 broadcasts. Go check them out. She not on her father's homeland, Congo, her bloodline roots lineage. She ain't, okay, BB. BB gets wild up in here. I love you too, sis. Oh my God, I gotta read your stuff before I flash it. Child. She's wild. She's concerned about Ukrainian children, but pushes abortion and homosexuality on the Black community as a demon rat. That you're right, Knight Rider. To my point. Salute, sis. You're doing a great job. Oh, thank you so much, man, for your kind words. I feel like going on. Okay. Michael, stop repeating the same thing. I see that comment. You done said it like 3 times. I already flashed it. BB says, salute to you, Michael, for your efforts. She thanks you. Everybody thanks you. We're very grateful. Speak that truth, sis. Reparationists, speak on that cosplay and true through Black American freedmen, adjacent blackness no more. That's right. It ends, baby. As long as I got a mic and a camera, I'm going to tell the TRU. Joy Reid, hi, PD. PD reports the news. Joy Reid is not one of us. She's a tether. Absolutely. That's what I was exposing with some little extras if you didn't catch the top of the broadcast. Amber Rose has always said she's from Cape Verde, Africa. Well, thank you, Amber, for being honest and not cosplaying us. BB says, Claude discusses that in his book. We are the leaders we've been waiting for. Absolutely, fam. No lies detected. It's like a defensive end going after the quarterback because he is holding so much money and the defensive end needs to sack him to get the money from him. Okay. It's like, okay, you were responding to something Ivy Dream said. Michael Steele and Joy Reid were silenced. No, actually, Michael Steele is getting the broadcast. Michael Steele is coming on with Simone Mammy Sanders and some other woman, some other white-looking Latino or something. Joyless tried to diminish Black American freedmen justice claim through dismissive tactics. Yes, as she's paid to do. $3 million a year. And that's why I don't watch this stuff other than to weaponize it to push my protest voter strategy. We got midterms coming up next year. So I'm keeping my foot on the gas to try to grow more support for deportation, closed borders until freedmen are flourishing. It shouldn't even be allowed until we're flourishing. Bad Bill 45, 47 wig. I was trying to pull a Jasmine Crockett on her. Please don't make me look at her. I'm weak. Oh, y'all funny. The reparationist perspective, you are funny when introducing Marin. Who is Marin? I don't even know. I love to be funny. I think I'm hella funny. I gotta laugh to keep from screaming. But I scream anyway. Y'all know how I do. Excellent breakdown, Reparationist. Thank you, my love. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Michael still knows better, but he's paying off his third mortgage on his vacation home on the bay. The reparationist perspective, you are funny. Okay, I don't know. When introducing Martin. Oh, I don't know. You talk about Martin Luther King? Michael, you need to give me a little more. I don't know what you're talking about. I knew Skamala was a trash individual, says Tip Reeds. Absolutely. I think we all started to see after a time. Thank you. Great show. I'm so glad. Yes, it was a typo. Thanks. Okay. No paperwork. You out of here, says BB. Boy, she a writer. Big corporations have never paid their fair share of taxes to the government. When they hire illegal immigrants, big corporations avoid paying taxes and raising wages for their employees. Yes, Michael, that's why I am for them being penalized up the wazoo, even going to jail. I would love to see it. Slavery built the big corporations. Correct. Okay, so here is my Cash App. For those of you who want to bless the broadcast, I'll conclude with that after I get through your comments and pray us out. Dr. Claude Anderson said, Black Americans have always been in an economic depression. Oh, that's by design, Michael. As you saw, they leveled 50 Black Wall Streets. They lynched us. Strange Fruit. Billie Holiday sung about it. Every time we tried to get a leg up, they came for us. But guess what? Get a leg up anyway. We can't allow them to scare us into doing nothing. And I know that we've been terrorized in this country and we're tired, but we got a whole group of babies that we got to continue to fight on behalf of. And like I said in one of my posts, please understand that what I'm imploring upon you to do in the protest voter strategy, it's because the demon rats declared war on us first. There are going to be casualties. There are going to be casualties. We're at war. That's what happens. But the goal is to get the Negro flourishing. We're never going to come up off the bottom if we're afraid to return the missiles to the Demon Rat Party. Understand that they have declared war on us first, and be great anyway. Build your businesses anyway. Buy your property anyway. This country's racism ain't going nowhere. But the Negro has got to stop being afraid to be great. You got to do it despite the racism. You got to push through. Thank you, funny face. Oh, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hi, Root Trackers. Okay, Kamala Harris is like a Karen because she prioritizes white people over Black American freedmen of chattel slavery. Michael, you ain't never lied. I mean, she's married to her whole you, okay? So, you know, that's where her allegiance lies. She's never given birth to Black babies. Her blues will never be ours, okay? And we know how she got to the top. Sleeping with married men, okay? That could help give her position. Under NAFTA, big corporations found ways to avoid paying higher taxes to the government and underpaying American workers. Yes, and NAFTA has turned into mass and illegal immigration in this country. Oh, Roly-Poly Martin, thank you for the clarification. Thank you for the encouraging words. You are so very welcome. I love us, Negro descendant strong. Yes, I do. With that being said, family, I've got to the comments. Yay! Okay. And so what I'm going to do is let me just put a button on this broadcast. I found a way to persuade Black American baby boomers to support cash payment reparations for Black American freedmen of chattel slavery. Thank you, Michael, for all your efforts. I appreciate you so much. I really do. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you to all of you. Thank you so much for spending your Sundays with me after church. Yeah, I'm trying to be here at 5:30, but they drag me all over the place for lunch after church and all this kind of stuff. And it makes it a little difficult because I get home and just need to decompress before I come to you live. I just want to put a button on this broadcast before I pray us out and do my declare and decree, okay? So that the weapons may form, but they will never prosper concerning the Negro and our allies. I want protection for both. But I just want you to understand and understand and overstand the purpose for this tonight's broadcast was to get you self-interested in delineation so that we can have more people fighting for delineation than we do stupid boycotts to protect whites and LGBTQ and immigrant DEI positions. That was a bust. I will bring that to you next Sunday. We're just out of time. It's nearing 8:30. That makes this a 2-hour live. I'm trying to do better. They've been 3 hours, 4 hours, and y'all need to go to bed, as do I. I want you to understand that there's no greater fight than the fight that you will have on behalf of your own lineage. When the airplane is having trouble and it's going down, they say, in order to help the person next to you, you must put the mask on yourself. The same is true for the Negro descendant. You need to be Negro patriots. You are the finest, most brilliant, most beautiful, most talented people on the planet. And sometimes you're just going to have to encourage yourself as people try to make you believe otherwise. You are the image likeness of God. And you've got mastery, power, dominion, and authority even over the bullshiggity I just shared with you. But I want you to get into the habit of asking, who are you? I want you to break the habit of identity and respectability pali tricks. It must die for the Negro to flourish. I want you to get involved on your local levels, in your local reparations fights. I want to hear cries for reparations as loud as Sharpton and his bootlicks were shouting for the DEI boycotts, which was an epic fail. We need to be louder on delineation and reparations than ever right now.
We've got 4 years while Trump is in office. I don't know if J.D. Vance will pick up where he leaves off. But the bottom line is the demon rats must suffer the way they've made us suffer. Our collective, I know about maybe 14 to 20% of us are doing okay. But none of us are okay as long as the majority of us are scratching and surviving. We've got to be very, very invested in our lineage flourishing in the country of our ancestors, because there's no place in the world that we can go and be put on like these illegal criminals have in this country. And the legal. I'm asking for a moratorium on legal and illegal criminal immigrants until the Negro is flourishing. And that's going to take them about as many years as it took them to drive us into the bottom of the Titanic. A good 200 to 300 years to correct and right these wrongs. And so I want you guys, after I teach you, to go out there and teach others how to be self-interested, how to be selfish. It's time for the Negro patriot to be selfish. It's time for us to put this diabolical music down, this diabolical TV down, and create what we once had. We must recreate it and leave our children better off. Because right now, they're dying from this demon rat and Crayola wanton white supremacist piling on them. It's our job as the adults with the education to go out here and help these videos to go viral. My videos should be viral, and I need your help to make that happen. So please, if you don't leave with anything else, leave with self-love and love for your lineage. And as long as, like my mama told me when I had my daughter 20 years ago, and I was so afraid. She said, as long as you lead with love, whether you're praising her or admonishing her, you will have mastered motherhood. As long as you lead with love of self and love of your lineage, you will have mastered advocacy and activism. With that being said, family, let me read my declare and decree statement, and then I'm going to pray us out. I declare and decree that the highest form of righteous judgment is served over all corrupt beings of the government, judicial system, including the police officers, CPS Child Protective Services, judges, attorneys, FBI agents, the CIA, the demon rats, the Republicans, and all personnel working for the U.S. corporation with wicked intentions. All hidden corruption and agendas are now destroyed forevermore in spirit and in flesh, in sleep and in awakened states across all timelines, realms, and dimensions, known and unknown. And with that being said, family, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever the Negro descendant and its allies are, God truly is, because, family, you are the face of God. Yes, you are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. Until we meet again next Sunday, I want you to make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your Sunday night and work week. And until next time, family, I'm believing for each and every one of us a ton of peace, love, And reparations, family. I'm so glad we had this time together. Carol Burnett, love her too.